Hello, I welcome you to another Tuesday teaching. This Tuesday is the last in September, which means with few days now, we'll be entering into October. But you'll still be joining me for Friday Tonic before the end of the month. I want to welcome you to my channel Languages. My name is Josephine, and I'm your digital professor. This online education is for those who are interested in philosophy of religion, theology, and religion. On Tuesday like this, I teach on core courses which are good. It's a kind of an addition to whatever your professor is teaching you in your various institutions. So let me say good morning, good afternoon, good evening. It depends on the time of the day you are in. Today, I'm going to end on African metaphysics by teaching on causality. Causality. You've been following me, you will know in talking or teaching on African metaphysics, I've taught on the dimensions, I've taught on the divination, I've taught on witchcraft and magic, and then today is the causality in African metaphysical perspective. In October, I'll be starting on free will and determinism, which means whatever else is necessary to know on metaphysics or generally metaphysical issues, you might need to contact me directly. So before I go into my core teaching today, let's join languages. I welcome you back again. For those who are just joining, this is Languages, an academy of knowledge economy. And my name is Josephine, your digital professor. I'm ending today what I've been teaching on African metaphysics with causality. And you know by now that I love to share PowerPoint presentation so that you can follow me as I teach you on this course. So hold on for me as I share my PowerPoint presentation. Causality, that's what I'm teaching today. And that is going to end everything I've been talking on African metaphysics. What will be his response if his question, does anything just happen? What's going to be your response? In answering this particular question, does anything just happen, was put to an African. And according to Ajan in 2001, the world is an ordered universe in which all events are caused and potentially explicable. Thus, Yeke in 1987 maintains the doctrine of universal causation in the Akan African world. The African does not just speak of mechanical, chemical, and psychological interactions like its Western counterparts. An African speaks of a metaphysical kind of causality, which binds the creator to the creature, reacting to the Western concept of chance, which believes that things could happen by chance. An African does not believe that things just happen by chance. Ozuma in 2004 argues that they call chance the ignorance of the series of actions and reactions that have given rise to a given event. That is, for any event, there are actions and reactions. Although Yeke in 1987 maintains a universal doctrine of causality in African ontology, he emphasizes that in African causality, greater attention is paid to extraordinary events and not natural events or regular occurrences when issues of causality are discussed. Regular or natural events will include rain during the rainy season. Definitely during the rainy season, you expect rain to fall. Drought during the dry season. A pregnancy that lasts at least 9 months, because that's supposed to be the duration of the pregnancy. Or plant growth catching a few features some particular times of the year. But when like a pregnancy is lasting 3 years, then you know there's a causality behind that particular pregnancy, which is not natural. Such events do not constitute a problem of the mind of the Africans because, as he argues, such events are held by them to be part of the order established by the omnipotent Creator. They are empirical, scientific, and non-supernaturalistic. They have been observed by people who now know a necessary connection between such events. For instance, they know that the river dries up during the dry season, or that a child stays in the mother's womb for 9 months before delivery. But extraordinary or contingent are those that engage the minds of Africans. Africans are engaged with the supernatural things that are not normal. Such events include a woman being pregnant for more than 9 months, which I said earlier. We've seen some women be pregnant for 2 years, for 3 years. Or drought during the rainy season, when you expect rain to fall and it's not falling. And a tree falling and killing a man. A tree that, the root is firmly in the ground. There's no wind shaking that particular tree. And a man sits under it or is there for a kind of shade, and he fell on that particular man. According to Yeke, these events have particular traits that make them think it is unusual. So it makes them, it gives a kind of disturbing thoughts to humankind's minds. They are infrequent and hence are considered abnormal. They are discrete and isolated. They appear to be puzzling. If anything is puzzling you, bizarre and incomprehensible, they are considered subsumable under any immediate known law of nature. The events are deemed insufficient to explain their causes. Thus, the ultimate cause of the event is solved. And the interest is not on what has happened, but it's not what has happened, but on why it happened. They are not even bothered about how or what happened to it, but how, why did it happen? Thus, not that the tree has fallen, but why it fell on a particular man and not on the ground or any other. To capture the entirety of African metaphysics in a work of this kind will be pretty tricky. That is because the concern of metaphysics, which is being covers the entirety of reality and therefore is very broad, complex, broad. So in conclusion, it explains why most African philosophers, rather than deal with African metaphysics as a theme with multiple sub-themes, would prefer to deal with only a theme of metaphysics as the subject of inquiry. It also explains why there are several books on God, the person, immortality, the soul, etc. There are only a few books on African metaphysics, and this work has not exhausted research on African metaphysics, but has contributed to the corpus of literature now referred to as African metaphysics, hoping that more writings may be inspired in this direction. I will end here. On African metaphysics. Generally, I'm ending here on metaphysics as a course or as a topic. I've done generally on metaphysics, and I've dealt alone on African metaphysics. So I'm going to let metaphysics and metaphysical issues rest now. In October, I'll be starting on determinism and free will. So if you want to know more, you can contact me with my email that you'll find at the description, please, or send me comments. I always reply to all comments that I receive. But please do not forget to subscribe, like my page, and share my page to others. And thank you so much for doing that. Join me on Friday. Have a wonderful week.